Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the Ultimate Man because I didn't really get to talk about it. I didn't really get to give my opinion or anything on it. I think overall I would rate this like a 7 out of 10. I think my favorite phase is probably P3. Difficulty wise, where would I put it? I think I would put it at DSR level. I think it's around DSR, maybe a little easier. I think my biggest issue with the fight, man, is just Forsaken kind of ruins it for me personally. This is definitely harder than Fru. This was not harder than UCOB on release. This was harder than Uwu on release. I just feel like that if P2 would have been better, and like I said, okay, so I'm biased, right? So this is gonna so this is obviously coming from a biased perspective because my favorite part about Kefka itself was God Kefka, and because they've really fucked up God Kefka, it's not one of my favorite. Yeah, so I'd probably rate it like a 7 out of 10. Probably a 6 or 7 out of 10. 6, 7. Something like that, man. P1 is a lot of fun. I like P1. P2 is absolute fucking giga trash. P2 is so bad that it kind of like ruins the fight more for me on multiple levels. Like, I just don't like the phase in general, but I feel like there's so much lost potential. Like I said, man, they just really fucked up P2, man. Do you think gear would kill the fight? Like, what groups? No. No. I think this will maintain its difficulty, I feel, just simply because of Forsaken. I will say though that even though I do hate P2 quite a bit, I will say that P3 is really fucking good. Well, okay, the black hole portion of P3 is really fucking good, but the first part is very mid. Is Forsaken the hardest mechanic in the game? No, it might be the hardest P2. I mean, it's pretty tough. I don't know if Forsaken is harder than like Wormhole. You don't like P3 because of tank LB. Well, think about it this way, right? Like if you like, let's say you didn't tank LB. How do you like the phase if you don't tank LB? Because me, I like even without tank LB, I really don't like the first half of the phase. I feel like the first half of the phase feels like Inception. Like there's kind of nothing going on except for those debuffs. And like that's like kind of it. I just feel like the first half of P3 is kind of bad in itself. I think P2 is the hardest phase. Forsaken is definitely a cheap mechanic. It's not a hard mechanic. There's no reason the cone baits have to be that precise. There's no reason that all of the fucking cones and stacks have to be the same color. There's no reason why you can't get a cone debuff on your buff bar. There's just no reason for a lot of stuff. Like, you know, oh no, guys, I feel like this fight is like a 7 out of 10 for me personally. I think this part right here is fucking nuts. I really like this part. I like this part a lot. I feel like P4 could have been way better than what it was. I feel like there was a lot of lost potential there because I feel like X Death is a really cool fight, like Neo X Death. I did like P5 a lot though. I thought P5 was pretty cool. I feel like P5 is like, it's definitely easier than top. I don't know if P5 is easier than Thornton. Maybe it's about the same. What hit harder, DSR or Kefka? DSR hit kind of hard too. Is it easier than Fru last phase? Yeah. Yeah. Or sorry. Is this easier than Fru? No, I think that I think Fru is easier. Yeah, I think Fru is probably quite a bit easier, honestly. I think the Exaflares in this and Fru are, I guess, similar. The MIT is around the same. P5 is probably harder. Wait, some of my friends that are already doing the fight have one guy marking. Probably. Yeah, like Nar marked a lot. I guess the question is this: what is easier, Celestriad or the what do you call that? The blades from Fru? You know what? I'm gonna say Kefka's like harder because the tank autos in 3 tank autos. The tank autos in Kefka absolutely shit all over the tanks, and there's nothing like that in Fru. I feel like this is definitely harder. I think they're going to use AM for P4 as well. I think that people are either going to, one, not self-mark, and it's just going to like, okay, look, I understand some people don't like auto markers, but here's just the reality of the situation, okay? You are going to encounter players in Party Finder that just simply do not give a fuck. They're just simply not going to try. Try to put yourself in the shoes of a player in the party with one of those players. Wouldn't you rather just have fucking AM? because I know I would. Like, dude, just fuck it. Like, they're like, here's the reality of the situation. You cannot make them mark, right? You can't make them do it. You know what I mean? So if they're not going to do it, they're going to impact you as a player, you know? And my mentality is this: don't let other people's, like, I guess, ability impact you. So just fucking do the auto marker. You know what I mean? You don't need it, but in the party finder, if people are going to, I guess, play that way, then you're probably going to want it. You know what I mean? But it's not as easy. Wait, just mark them yourself, bro. I'm going to tell you right now that I am not doing another person's fucking job. No shot. No shot. There ain't a single person in here besides maybe you that would fucking mark them yourself. No shot, bro. At that point, it's just as bad. Like, no, I'm being serious. At that point, it's just as bad because you're essentially enabling them to do it. You're essentially enabling them to just not mark themselves, and you're taking that responsibility upon yourself. And that's not fair to you. Like, it's really not fair to you. So, will auto markers be a thing in Party Finder? I don't know. Maybe. I can see it going both ways. I think at the end of the day, somebody's going to get really fucking frustrated or really pissed, and they're going to be like, you know what? I'm tired of these fucking idiots not marking themselves. We're just going to set up auto markers, be fucking done with it. And that's going to be that. That's what I think is going to happen. It's sad, though, to resort to AM. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it is what it is, right? You just have to take it for what it is. The community is just going to use the path of least resistance. What I'm about to say might not matter because it doesn't really take away from what you're saying, right? So I'm not trying to take away from what you're saying. But there is a very small upside. At least auto markers in this fight is not as egregious as it is in P5. But P5 deserved to be auto markered. Because fuck P5, that is a horrible fucking phase. It is designed like shit. It came out with bugs. That's one thing about me is I can't get around incompetence, I guess. And because it came out like fucked up and everything, that incompetence kind of ruined it for me forever. You're sad I never got to do P5 top without AM. Okay, well, don't be too sad because auto marker is essentially the same as two people just marking you. Like it's literally the same. I have done top with, obviously no auto markers or anything like that. And what it comes down to is you just either have one or two people mark and it essentially functions as AM, or you mark yourself and that's it. So like if you're not the one marking, then you're essentially, it's very similar to auto markers essentially. I hate Forsaken, man. It's a horrible mechanic. It's not fun to wipe to, man.